On our last episode, we got dashing working, so it's not very visually noticeable. This is not the right project. This is something Jeffrey was showing me that he was working on, which is cool. So here we go. Here's the project, and we're gonna go scenes, level 1, and hit play. And we have it so that we can move. We can dash. If you double tap, you dash and you move faster for a moment. Right now, it doesn't continue the sound when you're doing the dash, and it also doesn't angle the screens. Like if you double tap, you just kind of slide across, which we might want to fix that. There's some people that wanted to add more of a risk reward mechanic by having pickups that give you points. So that's something that I'd kind of like to do. Though what the title of this episode is credits. I want to just burn through the credits real quick because it should be a pretty simple screen, and just hook it all together. And then once we have the credit screen in there, we can spend the rest of the hour continuing to add features or clean things up. As I said, this is going to be our last day kind of working on the project proper. Whatever we have done at the end of the night is going to be our Gold Master candidate. So we're going to go into... let me actually open up Asana because I am concerned about a couple things that I don't think we have listed yet. So let's go to Asana and see what we got. So we're going to go to make a game now and wait for a moment and not freak out when it's blank. Okay, there we go. So audio pop on left and right movie sound, that's still a problem. Audio visualizer takes into account the player sounds. I think we're going to say wave on this one. So actually, we kind of already said that here. We may or may not care about fixing this. I'm not going to fix that one. So I'm going to go ahead and check mark that. Audio pop and left right movement sound. I'm going to leave that one here. We might fix it. This one's fixed, we know, on Android, and we assume it's fixed on BlackBerry and Windows Phone. We will check this on iOS and PlayStation Mobile when we start doing publishing. Mobile movement sound is quiet. This one is not a real big issue, so we may waive that one. So bugs we've got right now. Dashing does not affect camera rotation. Dashing doesn't have a special effect or sound associated. And features we need for release: better gameplay balance and game feel. I'm going to say that we succeeded at that one, though we still need a not a title screen, a credit screen. And this stuff, the publishing stuff we need, we will cover on the next episode when we do the publishing stuff. So what are we gonna do? Features we'd like. I am going to put at the top of the list here collectible / bonuses to enhance the risk / reward aspect of the game, which currently is pretty much non-existent. So there we go. Collectibles bonuses. This is something else we were looking at. And so let's start with getting that title screen done, just so that we have it done, so that we can say that our product is complete basically at any point. So we're going to go into... I'm going to duplicate the high score screen, Command-D or Control-D if you're on Windows, or you can go to Edit, Duplicate. And we're going to call this the credits. Our credits is going to be very simple. So we're going to say credits title. This one's going to have credits. And we're going to put, we're going to call this the core team. I think core team's appropriate. Core team. We don't want it to display a high score on this. And we will, we're going to center all of this stuff. So I'm going to switch these to middle, center, and actually keep them centered, so 0. So core team, move this up a little bit. So 5. And I'm just going to get rid of these other score ones here. Delete. We're going to keep the back button. It'll work exactly the same as it did before. We're going to keep the background. And we will... so, core team, duplicate... actually, I guess we could... Yeah, we'll do it as a line at a time or something. No, I don't like that. Delete. We'll do this by... So there was no command to actually insert a new line into here, which is silly. So we have to kind of copy and paste it from something else. I'm going to go ahead and do that just so that I don't have to create new objects for everything. So I'm just going to find a new line and copy it. So we just want... That should be a new line, so we're going to copy that. And then we're going to go into core team, paste, Maximilian Moreau. Whoops. Okay, so drag down here, paste again. Philip Wilson, and I'm almost certain I misspelled his name, so before he gets angry at me, I'm gonna go and double check that. And Jeffrey Hawthorne, and you can get mad at me immediately if I've gotten your name wrong here.
You did not.
Okay, cool. So let me go up and fix Phil. I'm almost certain it's one L, and I just have this double L fetish. So let me just double check though. Philip Wilson. Well, there's a bunch of double L people here, but I don't think Magma Lemur. Yep, one L. Sweet. Okay, so I did do it wrong the first time, but I got it right on the second time. Let's alright, so that's the core team, and let's create another one. I'm gonna duplicate this. We're gonna call this music, and we're gonna do music. Gonna move this down. I think I'm gonna make these a little bit smaller, so let's do core team. Let's make it 0.05 and 0.05. That's too small. 0.7. Yeah, that'll be good. And we'll do the same thing on the music. 0.07. 0.07. I'm going to save this for right now. Save scene, save project. And we're going to go into the title screen, and I'm going to steal this information. So we're going to grab music credits, copy, and we're going to put this into our credit screen. And actually, we can remove this from this screen now. So I'm going to delete it, and we're going to put it into the credits. Save. We're going to paste or something. Paste. Thank you. And we'll just do that, and we'll put it at 0.7 so that it stays consistent with that. And we want to make sure that we are not cutting anything off, though. So what build project am I in right now? Oh, BlackBerry. I'm going to switch to Android. Yay, that didn't take any time at all. And we're going to set this to 4.3. All right, so we don't want to cut off. I'm going to actually... Yeah, we'll make this multi-line. We'll just paste a... oh, I already copied something else, didn't I? So we'll go back in here, copy our thing, and we'll do the complex Kevin McLeod. There we go. And we will move this down a little bit. 0.3 seems appropriate. Let's go ahead and put... I'm going to group the music and music credits together. I'm going to group the core team. No, I'm going to leave the core team separate. Let's move the music stuff up. Let's move the core team stuff down. 3.5. And the music... We'll do 0. No. 0.5. No. Negative 0.5. There we go. And actually, and you know, I'm going to put a thank you let's look at put a special thanks as well. That's gonna make these credits really small unless we decide to scroll them. Which, you know, we can scroll them, right? That's not a big deal, right? Yeah. Yeah, let's, out of curiosity's sake, I'm going to create an empty game object. I'm going to put it, why is it Z100? I'm going to put the music, core team, credits, title, all this stuff into this thing. I just want to see what it would look like if we were to, like, scroll it in. Whoops. Scroll the whole thing in. So that looks okay, except for the back button looks bad there. So what we could do... So one of the tricks with the 3D text is the 3D text shader by default doesn't really pay attention to Z very well. Yeah, I don't like how that looks when it scrolls.
You could give it its own camera.
Yes, we could. So we'd render it first and then render the button later. Or we could just, you know, actually do the script that... Here, let's just grab it. We're going to grab... what is it called? It's called 3D text shader depth Unity. This will probably have a link to it. 3D text that takes depth buffer into account. 3D text. Unified Community Wiki is awesome. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the thing here. And what do they call this? 3D text.shader. So we're going to create in our shaders folder, create shader 3D text. And we are going to double click this. And we're going to paste this in. Now, I don't really want to replace, so I'm going to call it 3D text shader plus depth. I'll save. And so, theoretically, if we go into our text stuff here, we can... Okay, so we need to create a material for this now. So, by default, these already have their own text materials. So I'm going to create a material. We're going to call it 3D text plus depth. We're going to change it to GUI. Oh, I see. It was text shader or 3D text shader. So I guess it doesn't have to be 3D text shader plus depth. We can just call it 3D text shader. So we're going to... I'm just going to call it 3D text and GUI 3D text shader, and the font texture we're going to need to get yeah, that means that we have to input a font because we can't just grab the built-in Arial font easily. Actually, while we're at that, someone mentioned font licensing. Let me find out real quick. Arial font royalty free. Okay. Yeah, I think we're safe to use it. Can I legally use my fonts? Yeah, I think we're safe on it. Unfortunately, though, in order to actually get this, we need a font texture, and we need to actually probably re-import Arial, which means that if I'm going to re-import a texture font anyway, we might as well change the font completely to one that I know is safe to use. So let's do that. As I mentioned, I did this background with a font, and I actually don't remember the name of it, but what I did was I did search for royalty-free fonts, and I think it was in Font Squirrel, and I think it was Source Sans Pro, actually. So I'm going to download this one, and we'll use this instead of Arial, and this will solve both of our problems, and it'll make sure that that we aren't breaking the law with regards to fonts. So, Source Sans Pro, we're going to go in here. I'm going to install the font by right-clicking Sans Pro Regular, choosing Open, and click Install Font. There we go. And that's just for installing it on your operating system, though. So I'm going to actually add it to our project here. Hopefully OTF is supported. Yes, it is. Good. So I'm going to create a new folder called Fonts, even though we only have one. And we're going to put our font in it to be organized. And now, if we go into here, you'll see this has a font material and font texture. So in our materials, what we actually want to do is we go to 3D text and we throw our font texture in here. And in theory, if we were to put this on, say, our credits title, and we put 3D text on it, it totally disappears, and we need to actually tell it to use the Source Sans credit. There we go, and it came back. Yay. Good sign. Yeah, let's go with that font, and let's just do the same thing on all of these. So,
Since we're using the shader, let's see if it goes behind the back button.
good call. Let me just change the rest of them first. So Source Sans, and then I want to make sure that they are using the 3D text material. So this one's using 3D text. Yeah, so you have to drag them individually. You can't, like, drag into a group, unfortunately. And credits title needs 3D text as well, and game object does not. It's not a thing. So we're going to now scroll this thing down, and we're still ahead of the back button, but it might be because we're actually physically ahead of the back button. So let's see. Yeah, that looks like that is the case. So I'm going to move the text back in the Z till like, let's do 2.5. So that's still nicely in front of. And oh, it looks like for some reason our music stuff is a little bit offset, so I'm going to actually remove that offset. And then we're going to go back into our game and move this stuff up and down. Whoops. Move the whole thing up and down. There. That doesn't look so bad. Now it doesn't look like it's clashing with things. I'm actually going to increase the size of the fonts again. So this one's going to be 0.1 now. And that might still be too far. Let's find out, though. I guess it doesn't matter because now we can do, let's do 0.2 for the credits. 0.2. Alright, so that's too much. 1.5 will be plenty. And let's make it so the music is further down so that we're not cutting into it. And then the reason we're doing scrolling is so that we can add more stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. We're going to call this special thanks. And actually we can probably just get rid of the music credits thing because I did that as laziness. So we're going to just say special thanks to, and paste. I just pasted a lot of stuff. I just pasted a text shader in there. I'm gonna get myself a line feed. All right, special thanks to all our viewers at one more paste. http://www.cookingwithunity.com, or should I do Unity Rocks?
Do Cooking with Unity.
Yeah, I think people will know what that is a little bit better. Not just name recognition, but also like they won't be like, what is Unity.rocks? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Yeah, they won't know to.
So now I'm going to scroll this up
browser.
real quick and see if we have about the same spacing between things. I'm going to, so music is at 255. Let's do 250. Core team 3.5, 4.5, and then 8. Let's do 7.5. 7. Alright, I don't like the 2 on its own line. That looks ugly, so I'm going to actually put it... a very special thanks to... Yeah. The more I look at the term special thanks, the more I think that it's a really, really stupid term that I see in a lot of credits. Special thanks to... Yeah, we'll do that. Alright, so that will suffice. Now we just need to actually animate this thing going up. So, we'll scroll it into the screen. I think I'm going to start it here so that it will start saying credits. Like, by the time that you get in here, you'll notice that it says credits, as opposed to down here where it's like this really blank screen. So we'll start it like there, and I'm going to call it point -9. And we're going to call this credit scroll. And we're going to add a miscellaneous animation component. Animator is the new animation hotness. Animation is the old, not as hot animating system, but quite frankly, it's better for like one-offs and stuff like this than the other system supports like animation state machines and all sorts of stuff that we really don't need. We just want something to play. So we're going to create an animation for it using the easy way. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the window called animation, and I'm going to go ahead and dock this underneath our inspector here. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit the record button, and it'll automatically say, hey, save as a new animation. So we're going to save it as credit scroll, and we're going to put this into a new folder. We're going to do new folder, animations, create, and we're going to call it credit scroll. So we just do that. And then I'm just going to jiggle the Y a little bit here so that it creates a key for us. So we've got a key now. And this will take, I don't know, how long do you think the scroll should take? Let's make it 30 seconds and see how that feels. That's probably too slow, but we'll see what happens. So we will do this. Yeah, 1800 I think is the one I want. I really don't have to be that picky, but I am. So we go to credit scroll here, and we want the final position, so I'm just going to move this up to here. So actually, let's do the one where we leave it right here with our special thanks to all our viewers on the screen with our web address on it, because it looks like we're cool, and then it also looks like you're cool, and yeah, everything's cool. So I'm gonna hit enter. I'm gonna stop recording, and so now if we just hit play on the scene, nothing happened. And that's because even though we created an animation clip, it just added it to the animations, didn't add it to the current animation for some reason. So I'm going to manually do that. And now if we hit play, here's our credits, and they're scrolling up, and that's too slow. I'm going to just drag this to 20 seconds, and we'll hit I don't have to be recording anymore. Hit play.
Hey, I know that guy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Alright, cool. And this will have music because it'll continue in from the other scenes, but it's not going to have custom credit music. And back should take us out of it. Cool. So now we need to just link into it. So let's first save scene, save project, and commit what we've got so far. So Unity... And we'll also change all of our text on the other screens into using this font. So, what are we doing? This isn't what I want. Yes, I want source tree. And we're going to go to our working copy, and we're going to grab title screen, and we're going to grab all of these fun things that we added. We did a lot. That was a lot for our credits there. We did it quick, too. So, commit, we're going to call this credit screen, new font, lots of fun stuff. Even an animation. Wow. Alright, push commits immediately to origin.
Much movement, so animated.
Oh yes, Doge. Evidently our audience already hates Doge, so we should probably not reference it too much. So that's done. Now, what I want to do is, let's hook this into our title screen. So we're going to go into the title screen. Scenes, title screen. And title screen, we're going to duplicate the high scores button. And we're going to create a credits button. We're going to call it a credits button and credits text. Credits text. And so we're going to say credits. And we're going to move the credits button down here. Do 4.5. No, we'll do 5. And let's go ahead and make it so the credits button is 0.666666 away, or 7. We'll put a 7 at the end to make it clean. And so if we hit play, they'll all three be different button colors, which is cool. And then we will do credits text. What are we doing? We're going to want to change the text colors to or the text type to our new thing, but I don't want to do that just yet. Let's first do what are we gonna call it? I forgot what I was even doing. Who am I? Where
Does
am
the
I?
credits button go to the credits?
It does not. That's what I want to do. Thank you. So what we want to do is load scene, and we're going to do credits. And so if we hit play now, we click credits. Oh, scene couldn't be loaded because we didn't add it to the build settings. So we're going to go to build settings, and we're going to drag in our credit scene. And we're going to hit play. So credits, we are credits. Okay, and we also need to add our credit scene to our little ignore list that we have going on in Game Manager. So let me do that real quick. So we're going to go to Game Manager, scripts, Game Manager. And remember, we have this little if application doesn't have these names, we're just going to have one more, and I'm just going to hard code it.
It's only supposed to go in one level, isn't it?
The Game Manager?
Oh, wait. The score stuff.
Yeah, it's only supposed to be when we're in game and stuff. So we really should just be. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. We should match it to that one level since we only have one level to match it to, right?
Instead of matching it to not every other level.
Yeah, well, we already set it up this way, and I'm going to keep it. The reason I did it this way is because I thought at some point we were probably going to have several levels, but we ended up having less levels in the game than we did for other things. Oh, I did some sort of compiler bad thing. Wait, what? Oh, does not. And, thank you. And. Save. Is that enough? Yay, so credits. We got credits. They scroll up. Cool. We've got high scores. They show up. We got start game. That works. Alright, so let's finish up. Let's actually check in what we've got now because we hooked this up, and then we're going to change the text on this screen. So we're going to go bam and commit, and we're going to say push commits immediately to origin. Commit message is going to be hooked up title screen button on and level. Commit. And then finally what we're going to do is so start game, high scores, credits. We are now going to fix all of these to use the and since we don't care about the draw order on this one, we don't even have to necessarily change the shader. We're just going to change the fonts. So high scores text, we want, can we multi-edit these? If I do credits text as well, and start game text and title text, and then we switch all of these to source sans. There we go, we're done. Well, we're almost done because this kind of hangs a little bit now. If we go to the scene, oh, weird. It just is a very low font for some reason. So if we go to like start game text, what are the offsets here? Yeah, we're not doing any offsets. Middle, center, and yet what happens if we change the line spacing? Oh, so that does do something. 0.75. I'm gonna go with that. Don't know entirely why we have to do that, but I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna assume that this font, for some reason, is a little picky. Credits text, we put at line spacing, bam, and we go back to the game, and that looks a lot better. And we don't really want this to be the working title anymore. I'm just going to call it Grid Cruiser. We may have to change the name depending on what is available on the app stores, but we'll give that a shot when we start publishing. And yeah, let's just make this bigger. 3 and 3. Grid Cruiser. I like that font better than Arial's font. I really like the eyes on that. There's just something really appealing to a really high dotted I. I don't know. Whatever. I like that. So, are these actually spaced the same? They feel like they're not, but I think that's just a trick of the perspective. 0.75, 2.75, and 5. So that's not spaced right. So it should be 4.75. Though that looks wrong too, but I think that's actually more right. Here, let's do the real test. So if you're in the editor, you can click here and it'll switch it to a non-perspective view. I think it does. There we go. So this is not perspective, and so we can very clearly see that that's the same spacing. So that's good. So this is what we want, even though it doesn't look right. Although sometimes you have to change things because they don't look right, right? Like if you hang a painting in your house, right, and it looks crooked, and it's because your house is crooked, sometimes you might want to just follow it.
Why would my house be crooked?
I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Other people know what I'm talking about. If you live in a crooked house, man, like the Crooked Man from the stories and stuff.
Or that house in the Lemony Snicket's movie.
Yes, like that.
And
so,
I'm assuming the book as well.
So I'm going to also do a little thing here. I'm going to actually take all of these and I'm going to move them to the left. And the reason I'm going to do that is because then we can see our cube in the background a little bit better. I'm just going to do that as a little stylistic thing. Start game, high scores, credits. Start game, game starts, game plays, yay. So let's save scene, save project.
Do we have buttons that are using the old font on the other scenes?
We don't, but we are using Arial in our GUI stuff on the game scene, and I actually want to switch that to 3D text so that it's consistently sized, which is what we're going to do next. So this is font changes. Commit.
So high scores and everything are all updated.
So, what do you mean? Like, yeah, high scores is using the Source Sans Pro regular.
No, I mean the high scores level.
Oh yeah, this one is, we're totally, oh wait, no, we're not. We didn't do this on the high scores level. Alright, you're right. Thank you. So we're just going to go grab all these and just be like,
Back button.
And back. Back text. And this one we're going to fix the line spacing 0.75.
You might have to do the back button on the credits.
I think I did the back button on the credits, but okay, so that still looks good. I'm not going to bother reorienting anything. So let's double check the credits screen. Save. And the back button is... You're right, we didn't change it. I swear I had. But I guess the reason that you knew that we hadn't is because I didn't have to fight the line spacing. Is that one of the things that clued you in?
It's one of the things that made me think more that we hadn't done it.
And there's no... These are all completely free to use for commercial work. Yes, good. So we don't have to even point out anything. We could, if we wanted to, point out Font Squirrel, but I'm not going to. If you want a version that you're like, man, Font Squirrel saved my life, I'm going to put them in the credits, then you should put them in the credits. So let's go to title screen, just make sure everything's still kind of working. Credits, good. The high scores, good. Credits, still good. Start game, still good. I'm going to die. And we're good. Alright, so let's save scene, save project, check in our changes. More font changes. Push commits immediately. And let's see here. So 3D text shader, column beat. What are we doing? So I want to fix, so in the level 1, right now we use a GUI call to actually do the score rendering, which is fine. It does work. I mentioned that I generally only use them for debug purposes, and that's why we put these in originally like this. And part of the reason is this font size is, you set it, and it's based on pixels. It's not based on screen area. And the problem with that is, if you're on a really high-resolution display, like an iPad with Retina, or even a Retina MacBook or whatever, the text is really, really small on those devices, or even on like Androids with really high-resolution displays. Like anything with high-resolution displays has really tiny. And if you have, and actually we can test it here. Like if we hit play, and I scale this down, you'll see that the text stays the same size relative to everything. And so I'd actually rather it be that we specify some portion of the screen for this. And I also think that we shouldn't have score and high score on the same side. I think we should have like score on the left, high score on the right. So let's do that real quick. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a file, not new scene, game object, create empty. We're going to call this score. We're going to give it a, what is it called? Actually, I'm going to just create a 3D text instead of calling it score. And we're going to go new text. We're going to make it 100 size. We're going to scale it back down 0.1 and 0.1. And we're going to change the font to Source Sans Pro. And we are going to change this to say score colon with a space. And we're going to maneuver it so that it is where we want it in the scene. So I'm going to, if we put this at 0, so we're going to put this over here, put this over here. And I kind of don't want this to interact with the pillars. And so right now, there's the potential the pillar will go in front of this score thing. Actually, wait, we might not have that problem because, again, we're using the old... Let's see how this looks. There's one problem. Score! All right. I just want to see what happens when it goes... Okay, so it looks like it does not... So it always includes it. So we don't have to put it on a separate camera. We could do that if we needed to. But what I am going to do is I'm going to parent this to the camera, so now that when we hit play... So now it rotates with the camera, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's make the text smaller. Let's do 0.5, 0.05. That looks pretty good. I'm going to put this at 3 and -7.5. That doesn't leave a whole lot of space on the edge of the screen. Traditionally, in the old days, you would want to have a guard band around whatever you were doing, just because you can't guarantee that this would actually be on the screen. In the digital day and age, we probably don't need to worry about that, but because I'm old school, I am going to move it in just a little bit. And then 2.75. That's too much. Let's do 2.9 and 3.9. No. 5, 6, 3.7. Yeah, we'll do that. And now we actually need, we're going to call this score. I'm going to duplicate this, and we're going to call this high score. And high score, we're going to change it to, instead of it being upper left and left, we're going to make it upper right and right. And we're going to move this thing over. We're going to say high score, and we're going to move it to the right. Something appropriate. So actually, if score is at -3.7, we're going to do the same thing here, and 2.9 is fine. It's the same as the other one. And then we need to actually display the score. So right now we can display the high score already. We have a script that'll do that. So we're going to do actually we don't have a script that'll do that. We have a script that'll display our stored high scores, but not the actual high score value that is being updated in the game. Remember, we want it to count up when we reach our score threshold. So we're going to create a...
I thought it did do that.
This one... Oh, wait. Maybe it does. Get int high score. No, this is not it. Display previous score... Yeah, so before we didn't have a script for it, right? It's built into our game manager under the on GUI stuff. So what we're doing here is we have the current score, high score, all this stuff. And oh yeah, and game over, we need to replace that as well. So I'm going to temporarily just go, wait, wrong one. Comment this out so that we don't have to see it. And so high score, display high score is not going to actually do what we want. I'm going to duplicate it though because it's going to be very similar anyway. So we're going to display current high score, and we're going to double click this, change it to say display current high score, and instead of grabbing it from get int, we're going to grab it directly from game manager dot instance dot high score. Wait, is that not publicly available? It is not, is it? Let's do public static float high score save. And actually, I guess it's a static, so we don't even need the instance. We can just do game manager dot high score. So this will be our high score display, and then we're going to duplicate this, display score, And this one will be very similar, except for this one will be GameManager.instance.score. No. Find score. So it's private. We're going to make it public. We're also going to hide it in the inspector. Save. Display score. And now we can just do dot score. There we go. Save. Save all. Okay, we didn't have to save all. We got it. And so now, okay, we've already got global contains display current high score. Oh yeah, so we need to rename this one to display score. Save. And hopefully that'll work. Cool. And we're going to put display score on our score, and we're going to put display high score on our high score. And yeah, that'll work. So if we hit play, there we go. We've got a high score, we've got a score. And the score is totally not updating. And the reason for that is this display thing is just happening in start. So what we actually want to do is we want to make this update in real time. So I'm going to create an update loop, void update. And what we're going to do is textmesh.text equals this, and we want text mesh to be a global, so we'll do well, not global, but private text mesh. And so we do that, save, and then I'm just going to copy and paste this over. Oh wait, we don't need score slot at all for this. We don't need score slot for either of these, actually. So I'm going to grab this. We're going to paste it over on display score. I'm just going to put it above it for right now, and then I'm going to delete. I'm going to grab this section and put it here, and then we're going to delete this stuff. So save, and hopefully play. There we go. We've got a score, although it's displaying without it being an int. So let's go ahead and change that to int. Save. There we go. I think I'm going to make the text a little bit smaller for both of those things, just because they might clash with each other, and I don't want that to happen. So let's make it 0.4 and 0.4. There, that's more like it. Cool. So now we've got, so now this will be consistent, so if we scale this up, the scores will actually get larger, or smaller or larger. So that's good, that's what we wanted. And now we just need a game over message. So I'm going to create another game object, another 3D text. Actually, I'm just going to duplicate score. And we're going to make this one center. We're going to fix the line spacing to 0.75. And we're going to call this game over. And we're going to say game over touch to restart. We're going to say actually, let's just say game over. We'll not give them any instructions, and that way we don't have to worry about it. So we're going to put this at 0, 0. And we're going to make it big. And let's see, 15 and 15 looks like we might have it. And let's go ahead and make this right on the line here. And if we hit play, I just want to see how this ends up looking. Oh, game over, 27. We do not want it to be displaying a score on this. We don't need that. Hit play. So, assuming I was dead, that's very readable. I kind of want it a little bit higher so it looks like it's right on that line. 0.3, 0.31. Alright, 0.3, that's right on the line. And we don't want this to display unless we're dead, right? So I'm going to turn it off to start, or rather, I'm going to turn off the mesh renderers to start. Save scene, save project. And if we go to our game manager, our priority, our criteria for figuring out if we were game over, so if game over is true. So the way we determine game over, I guess we can just read game over, right? So I'm just going to throw this into a new script. We're going to create a C# script called display game over. And then on display game over, save changes to document, save, yeah, sure. At display game over, what we're going to do is an update. We're going to say if, now I double check in game manager, I think game over is private. We're going to make it public. Yep, public, bool game over. I'm going to make it hide in inspector. This just affects the very next line, so it doesn't matter if it has a group here, it just is going to hide the top one. And hiding in a private variable is not very needed, so I don't really bother with that. So display game over, so we're going to just say if game manager.instance.gameover equals true, we are going to say renderer.enabled somehow let's say save all renderer. I know this is a real thing. Don't do this to me. This is a lie. It says mono behavior is not a real thing. I think that it's lying to me. Save all. I'm going to close this and open it again. Let's see if we have any errors first. No errors. Sweet. Display game over. So if GameManager.instance.GameOver equals true, renderer dot, there we go. Renderer dot enabled equals true. And so we will just do that. And so in theory, if we hit save and we hit play and we die, we should see a big old, oh wait, we won't see that because we didn't attach this. We need to attach this to our game over. And play. Now when we die, we should get a nice big game over.
I kind of want to make the game over use the same coloring as the player/thin grid.
Okay, we can do that. So all we have to do is put in cycle material color on game over. Game over. And if you want the thin grid, that's the one that's offset by 0.333333. So now if we die, it will be a complementary color of the background and it should look pretty cool. Oh wait, no, that's not the thin grid. I was sworn that was the thin grid, but evidently it's not. So we'll do 0. Play. Yeah, that's looking right. We can see in the font preview. Cool. I like it. And what else did I want to do for this stuff? I'm gonna save this. Let's check in what we got. Gonna grab all of these things.
We should check the comments too.
Revamp of score, display, and game over and stuff. Commit, and let's see how the comments are coming. We're going to go into our view on watch page. Yeah, I guess we haven't looked at the comments once on this episode. I apologize. Got focused. So, view all comments. Just curious, can you do that color stuff on the title? We absolutely can. We just did it on some other 3D text. Love coming home from work and seeing this project come together. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. If you put the text of high score on the right and the player gets really far in the game, the high score could be off screen. Am I right? High score on the right will actually slide more to the middle because we anchored it on the upper right. So as you see, when we hit play, it immediately slides over based on the number of numbers. So the worst case scenario is the score and the high score could collide in the center of the screen, which I'm willing to take that chance. you'd have to have a pretty high score. But yeah, it could certainly happen. You attach display high score. It should be display current high score. Did I actually do that? I did. Thank you. I really appreciate that you told me that. Display current high score. Really appreciate that. Hunv, we didn't test that. So, and part of the reason we didn't test it is because I have a ridiculously high score now that I'm having trouble actually beating. But what would have happened there is the high score wouldn't have updated in real time because we don't update the other one in real time. So thank you for noticing that. That's awesome. Super awesome. Hunv 3, thank you. So, Hunv 3, I like the way that you wrote it. So, hopefully you don't mind that I capitalized Hunv. If you intended your name to be lowercase, I apologize that I messed up your case stuff. So let's make sure that everything still works. We're going to go into scenes, level 1, not level 1. We're going to go to title screen, hit play, grid cruiser, and actually let's check it on 16 by 9 because we want to support that as well. So this is what it looks like at 16 by 9. High scores looking good, credits looking good, start game looking good. I can dash, I can move. You can see that we don't anchor to the actual sides of the screen, so if you're on widescreen, it doesn't slide it over further. So the game really plays exactly the same, you just see more on the left and right and widescreen, so, which is good. And I'm going to give one effort on actually beating that score to see if we actually have the high score update. I'm not too worried about it, but I just want to see if we can do it.
Score is public, but it's hidden inspector, isn't that right?
That's correct.
Halfway.
Yep. More than halfway, really, because the... Oh, no! Well, I gave it a shot. I'm going to assume that it works. I'm going to quit Unity.
More than halfway in terms of time, less than halfway in terms of difficulty.
Actually, okay, so it's been an hour. We could quit it right now. Let's see. Oh, I pronounced it right. Excellent. Don't forget the stars. All right. So, I guess stars is like the thing that we're going to the collectibles. All right. Let's make a collectible. Let's do it. Let's do it on this episode, and then we might clean it up on the next episode. We'll just get something started. I will take no more than 30 extra minutes on this episode because we need prep time and stuff for the next one. So let's make a collectible. Stars is asking a lot because that would mean that we'd have to model... Oh, you know, actually, maybe it's not. We can always add something to the credits, right? Let's check opengameart.org and see if someone has a star for us. I'm going to search for star, not start. Though I'm now curious what start will give us. Rigged male body. He looks so happy. I don't know why start showed up there.
I thought he was frolicking, but now it looks like he's impaled on a grid or something.
Yes. So let's search for star, and let's search 3D art. So we're gonna do star. All right, here we go. This looks like a star. 3D model of a star with a bevel for use as a spinny thingy. CC0! We don't even have to change the credits, yay! So, thank you, Savino, very much for making a 3D star so that we have a star. So, I'm going to download a star. Oh, sweet! it didn't know to actually save this. So this is actually what a OBJ file looks like. It is human readable. It's kind of interesting. So this is actually all the vertex data for this star, and I guess the Fs are probably are these quads? I guess these are quads. I don't know. Anyway, let's actually right-click this and choose Save Link As, because it wanted to open it up as a text file. We're going to call this star and save it. And I'm going to create a new folder called Models. And we're going to throw our star object in the Models folder. And so the import settings by default are kind of weird, and we probably don't want some of them. So I'm going to close this tab just so we have more space to work with again. And you'll see that it doesn't look quite as good as we did before. So first of all, we don't have an animation on this thing, so I'm going to choose None, Apply. Our model, I'm going to not import materials. We're going to hit Apply, and I'm just going to delete this materials directory that were generated. And we're going to try calculating the normals and see if that looks a little bit better. If we hit Apply, now it still kind of is a little sketchy on the... I don't like that. I don't like that like seamage. It probably won't look so bad if we make these really bright, which we will. So let's see. If I change the smoothing angle, does it make anything better? Maybe. This is more consistent. Let's make it way lower and see what happens. Oh, yeah, that's what we want. Heck yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. All right, cool. Now it's all flat and fun. So, so that looks good, and what we're going to do now is I'm going to import FBX errors. Unsupported wedge mapping mode type. Please report this bug. Unity, I need an adult. I got an unsupported wedge mapping mode type. I'm not reporting that bug. So we're going to hit save project, and we're going to go into our level. We're going to go into scenes, level 1, and we're going to drag a star in to see how big this thing is. I'm going to put it inside of our hero here so that we can just, so that we can just compare it. So if we move this thing up, there's our star. So our stars are huge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the scaling in the scale factor. So I'm going to try 0.5, and we're going to hit apply. All right. Oh, does it not scale from center? That's fantastic. 1, 2. All right. So we're going to. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Let's make it 0.3. Apply. And so if we put this at 0, 0, so where is the pivot on this thing? We're gonna have to, yeah, the pivot on this is at a terrible location. So let's pull this out of our hero, and what we're gonna do is, right now this is a prefab, but it's a prefab based on a model. I highly recommend that you create a new prefab based on this. So I'm going to go ahead and call this star, and we're going to move this into prefabs. Because if you change, like if this file gets changed later, like if your artist updates it, you will lose a lot of your metadata if you don't do this. So you want to store it as a separate prefab. So luckily we can kind of move the star based on its parent already. I'm just going to make it more sane as far as positioning here. So we're going to, what am I doing? That's not what I wanted. Why is this whole thing moving when it should just be moving the star? That was weird. All right, so the star is at the same position as the hero, right? Yes, perfect. So we're going to use the hero as our marker here. So we're going to move this so that the star is centered in the hero. So let's try. So I don't think we need to move the X actually. Let's leave. No, we do need to move the X. So let's move the X over about there, 0.22, 0.8, yeah, that'll be good. And then I want to actually rotate it so that it's facing the Z direction. Oh, I should have done that first, I guess. So we'll do 90, and then we'll redo the offsetting. So try and get this close to center and close to, whoops. 0.8 is probably fine. 0.08 is probably fine there. And put the Z forward about 0.25. There we go. So that's probably pretty centered. I'm actually going to go ahead and... So that's centered. So if we look at the pivot, yeah, you'll see that the pivot's nice and centered. Now, what I actually am going to also do is, let's go ahead and make the star a little bit higher and make it so that the pivot is based on, let's do 2. So now if we move this down to Y0, okay, I'm just going to try and get the legs locked on the ground here at Y0. 0.50. 5.2 is probably more accurate. Yeah, okay, let's do that. So there we go, and so if we click on this, we have a pivot point. That's a weird pivot location. Is that right? I don't know if I did this right. So wait, oh, this shouldn't be rotated. Oh no, I rotated the wrong thing. That's our problem. So we're going to unrotate this 0, and we're going to have to re-rotate this again, 90, and there. Still weird that it's in the lower left-hand corner there. Oh, that's because these values were supposed to be on here as well. I was moving the wrong thing around. So we want that, and we want this, or maybe we want the opposite, and then we don't want it on here and here. Okay, so we're almost there. So now it's 0, 0, 0. That's good. I'm just going to scooch this over just a tad in the X. 7.2. They like to have 2s on there. It looks like that's going to be probably as close as we're going to get. So now if we click on star, there, that's what I want. We've got the indicator on the ground, plane, and it's pointed forward for the forward of the star. So let's update this, apply this to our prefab. And what we're going to do is, we've got a pillar spawner here. I'm going to create a duplicate of this. We're going to call this star spawner. And we're going to, instead of spawning the pillar, we're going to spawn a star. This is going to be our thingy. And I don't know why we called it a thingy, but that's what we called it. And I'm going to keep the ranges the same, but I'm going to make the spawn times different. So let's do min spawn time of 1 second, max spawn time of 10 seconds, and we'll still keep the spawns per speed unit there. And so let's see if we get some stars. Let's see if it just works. Our stars will probably not be colored or match anything. Look, okay, I see a star, and we're not going to see it any closer because the star does not move close to us. So we're going to go into our pillar parent, and we're going to copy, move left and right, and paste that on our, not the star spawner, we're going to place that on our star, paste component as new. We're going to pillar parent. We don't need to do the scale over time. I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to copy component on destroy under Z value, and we're going to put that on our star. Oops, star. Paste component as new. We're going to grab move based on game speed, copy component, paste component as new. And anything else we need over here? No, that should be good. So if we hit play now, there's a star. Okay, we're gonna have to make the stars much more obvious. So we're gonna need to make the stars more obvious. So first of all, I'm gonna make them bigger. I'm gonna pull my star in here, and I'm just gonna see how bad this goes. This is gonna go real bad, isn't it? 0.4, apply. Could have gone worse, I guess. I'm gonna make them 0.5, And we're going to readjust this a little bit. So we're going to go to our star. We're going to move it up so that it's just touching. 1.02 seems right. And then we'll move the X over so
That's
that...
the parent again.
Thank you. How did that happen? All right. Star. All right. We want this to be just on the 2.52. And we'll move this over 1 point. And we'll move the Z a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? Let's put the 2 there. No. 3.3 was better. 3.5. Yeah, let's do 3.5. And the center line is a little bit trickier. It needs to move a little bit this direction, but not a whole lot. There we go. 1.2. All right. And all these are still 0, right? All right, so we're going to hit apply. And so that should make it a little bit more visible. Now let's actually change the way that it renders. So we've got a default diffuse material here. We're going to create a new material. I'm going to call this create material star. And our stars are going to... So I'm not sure how many of these shaders support... Like we let's see what happens. I'm going to try a self-illuminating diffuse. If you don't see anything in here, it probably means that it collapsed. If you click here, it actually uncollapses it. There's no visual indicator that this has been collapsed. This is one of these little Unity gotchas. So if you don't see anything in your shader, and you're like, what's happening? Click up here. So this takes a main color, so that's good. I'm not going to bother with emission settings. Let's just see how this does, and let's give it a color. So we've got cycle. What's it called? Script cycle material color. We're going to put this on our star, and let's just see how it looks with the default settings. Oops. Well, we saw the star there. So I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to delete the star from the scene, and we're going to hit play and see what happens with our spawners and stuff.
I don't think you put the star material on the star.
I didn't? Thought I did.
I thought I saw the regular diffuse material.
Well, it's colored, but that doesn't mean anything. So let's see. You're probably right. Where's the star? Prefab star. You were absolutely right. We did not. So we're going to put. I'm going to go to materials. There's a bunch of ways that you can set these. This is one of the many ways, and I'm going to search for our star material. So now if we hit play. So they're definitely more visible. Though the problem is they're being affected by the fog, so they still kind of silhouette. I kind of want them to constantly be stark. So what I'm going to do is... any of these ignore fog. Let's try particles added. Actually, particles... Oh, multiply. That would solve it real quick. We wouldn't even have to give it a color. Maybe. I'm not sure if this is going to look good at all. They might even be black right now for all I know. Okay, yeah. I don't like whatever we did there. Let's do particles, alpha blended, and hit play. Oh wait, these use a tint color, so we're not going to be recoloring them.
Unless we change the string to tint.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. We have it right here. So, tint.
Tint
Sweet.
color, I think.
Oh yeah, tint color. Color. How nice that we exposed that for ourselves. Still doesn't look like it's working. No, it is. Oh yeah, it is working. That's the prefab, but it's still being affected by fog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the Unity built-in shaders, and we're just gonna make it so that it is. We'll do diffuse for right now. we're going to actually change it so that it is not affected by fog. So I'm going to download archive.
Do you not have the downloaded archive from before?
I don't think I do. So I'm going to just download this. It's real small. Like, see, it's done. It's like K. It's all text, right? So we go built-in shaders. I'm going to go default resources extra. I'm going to grab our just normal diffuse shader. We're going to throw this into our shaders folder. So diffuse, normal diffuse goes into shaders. And I'm going to double click this, and we're going to call it shader diffuse no fog. And all we're going to do is tags. I think it's what is the fog thing? Disable fog unity shader fog. All right, so fog command. So
Fog off.
yeah, fog off or fog mode off. Yeah,
I think it's just fog off.
is it? Fog off. Yep, I thought it was mode off. I don't know, maybe that's not right. Let's find out. Save. Diffuse no fog. We're going to grab our star and we're going to change its shader to diffuse no fog. And we're going to hit play. It didn't give me a compile error, so that's a good sign. And look, our star is not being affected by fog. Excellent. And we need to change this back to regular color. And all I want to do now is make sure that we're actually using the other hue, so 0.33333333. So now it should really stand out as a collectible. There we go, they stand out. Look at it. And it's your colors, so that means that you want it. That's how we're going to teach the player that we want this. So I'm going to save scene, save project. We're not done yet because we're not collecting these things yet. We're just going to put collectibles first pass. And we're going to push all commits immediately to origin. Cool. And what do we want to do? We want to make these collectible. So I'm going to go to our layers here. I'm going to add a layer called Collectible, and we're going to go into project settings, project settings, physics. And we're going to make it so that we're going to explicitly say what we want collectibles to collide with. So we want the collectibles to collide with... So right now, if we tell it that it could collide with player, we will run into a problem. Right now, the player will kill himself if we do that, because we say if we collide with anything, to die. So I'm actually going to create one more layer. We're going to call this... so we did Woosher and Wooshie... collectible and collector. So we will now go into project settings, physics once again, get rid of all these defaults, and we want collectors to collide with collectibles. There we go. And collectibles collectors collide with collectibles, and collectibles collide with oh wait, no. So yeah, that's the only one we have to do. There we go. So players collide with obstacles, whooshers collide with whooshies, and collectibles collide with collectors. So save scene, save project. We're now going to put in star. We're going to change. So this has a mesh renderer. I'm going to also give it a... Actually, I'm going to give it to this. We're going to give it a physics sphere collider. And I'm going to put this in the scene and see what our sphere actually looks like. So So the sphere collider, we're going to move up a bit, and we're going to make it bigger. Whoops, 0. Make it bigger. There we go. 1. Yeah. Now let's make it a little bit bigger. 1.25. And yeah, that'll be good. Just gonna move it down to 1 here. There, that looks great. So we have a sphere collider now. We're gonna make it a trigger. We're going to put this on the layer of collectible. I'm just gonna, oh yeah, might as well change the children. Who cares? We'll hit apply here. We're going to go to hero, and right now we've got hero protagonist and we have Wuxi. I'm going to duplicate Wuxi, and we're going to change this to collector. And collector is going to have a so it's a box collider. That's fine because we're a box. We just need to change the layer to collector, so we're done there. And cool. So now if we delete the star, now all we need to do is make a script that makes it so that we gain points when we hit the stars. So scripts. So I'm going to duplicate gib on collide, or gib on trigger. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to use gib on trigger, and we're going to add a public float score value equals 0. The reason I'm equating it to 0, normally I put like positive values and stuff so that we can see if things are going. We're now far enough in the project that this script is already being used by things, and most of those things we assume don't add a score value. Like we don't want to give the player a score when he blows up. So I'm defaulting it to 0 so that all of those scripts, when they pick up this new value, will see zeros, and then we will add to something here. And so we're going to also need in Game Manager a way to affect the score. I guess we can do that just directly, can't we? Yeah, we can just do that. So what we'll do is give on trigger score value equals 0.00f, and we will destroy the game object, and we will also do game manager dot score dot instance dot score plus equals score value. So if we save this and we attach it to our star, so we go into, object reference, that's it. Oh, that was Unity's problems. I'm going to assume that I'm going to save project. Alright, so we're going to put gib on trigger on our star. I'm going to do it by going to the star and choosing add component gib on trigger. And right now we have this one explode thing. I'm just going to use it for the stars as well. For right now, let's go to our star. So we need to give it explode, and we're going to give it a score value of 100 points. And save scene, save project, play. Alright, so we've got a star here, and nothing happened. So something we set up wrong. So, oh, I know what the problem is. The star does not have a rigid body. Component, physics, rigid body, and we need to set it to is kinematic. The reason this matters is because the star is moving, and since the star is moving and we're not telling anything that it's moving, it makes the collision system unhappy. Hopefully that's the only thing that's the problem. If it's not, then we will fix the other things too. Oh, well, that was fast. Yay! We probably wanted to have a less dangerous sounding sound. That's just because we used the explosion effect. And is our score going up when we do it? I didn't actually look. Yep, it is. Sweet. Everything's working. So let's save scene, save project. Let's grab all of these things and drag them in here and commit. Collectible stars. Yay. They still need their own particle effect. Push commits immediately to origin, commit. So, once we have that, let's see. So, let's go ahead and duplicate explode and let's work on it. So we're going to create, this one is going to be called star explode. And I'm going to first, before we forget, I'm going to make it star explode here so that we've got that going on. I'm just going to drag this into the scene to work on it, and we're going to put it at like 0, 0, 0. And who cares about the rotation? Because we're doing it from the center. So simulate, it does that. So let's make the color a more friendly, like, honestly we should probably be changing this color as well, but I'm just going to make it blue for right now. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that it's a little cooler. We're going to make it so that there's a collision thing, and I'm going to check mark collision, and we can make it so that it collides with the world, but that's overkill, especially considering we have a nice plane to work with. So we can just y-axis is used as plane normal. Is that okay? I think that's going to be okay. So because we're actually using planes, so I'm going to give it our. It doesn't matter which one you give it. You can give it ground 32 or ground grid 8. Either of those will work for this, so we're going to just do, I'm going to go with the ground grid 8. There we go. And so if we hit stop and simulate, that still didn't do much. Now what we want to do is I want to turn on gravity. So we're going to do a gravity multiplier of 1. So we're going to do a simulate. And we're going to make these things last a lot longer. Let's make them last 5 seconds and simulate. There we go. And I like that. So let's see how that actually looks in the game. So we're going to hit play. Well, that's what it'll look like. And we don't want that same sound. We want a different sound. So let's just make a real quick sound for this. ASFXR. There's a bunch of SFXers. There we go. AS3 SFXer. And we need a collectible. So power up. Or do we want pick up coin? I like power ups. I like that one. Good. I like that one. Export wave. Star sound is what we'll call it. Save. We're going to put this one into our sounds. And we're going to, yeah, we should have it as 3D sound. We're going to start explode. We're going to change it to use star sound. And we're going to hit apply. We're going to delete this, and we're going to hit play and see how it works.
Did we switch the explode prefab on the star?
I did. Yeah, that was the first thing I did. I kind of want that to actually be the complementary color, so let's look at this real quick. I think we can actually just do the cycle thing. Can we? Wait, did these things work exactly right with the cycling? No. Okay, so it's not the complementary color, because I was wondering how that would be possible. Because these things start at random times, right? So since they don't exist at the start of the game, it's not actually a complementary color, it just happens to be some color. So our offset is doing virtually nothing. What's the easiest way to solve that problem?
How are the colors done again? Can you bring up that script?
So here's how they're done. We just add to the hue, and then if it's greater than or less than 0, we reset it. So,
So we could have a...
we could do a match material color or something.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this one. We're going to call it match material color. Match material color. And we're going to put this... I'm going to call it match material color. Color property name color. Sure, we'll just leave all that the same. And instead of doing all of these things, we don't need any of this. All we need is a public renderer target. So we will get rid of all this, and we will get rid of all of this, and we will instead do target dot material dot color.
We might want a public string target property or something also.
Okay, yeah, good call. So public string color property name target color property name. So what we'll do is dot get color, and we give it a property name string. So this will be target color property name. Save. So if we now use this instead of the... So if we go into our star, I'm going to move it into here, and we... Oh, wait, the target, though. We need to grab this at runtime. So I'm actually going to, instead of giving it a renderer target, I'm going to actually give it a public string target name, or target tag. And so what we need to do is on...
And a private renderer.
I'm going to do it on start. Void, yeah, private renderer target. Void start. We find the game object. We're going to do target equals game object dot find game object with tag target tag dot renderer, and then this should work. So we're going to save this. We're now going to tag our... So we want this to be based on the grid 32 color, right? So I'm going to tag this one as grid 32. It's actually our first tag that we did in the program. This is a very tag light
Yeah, I was
program.
shocked when I saw that.
Yeah. Save scene, save project. And so what we're going to do is we're going to now go into our star, delete the... Wait, our star child here. We're going to remove the cycle material color. We're going to add match material color. And our target color property name, I think, is actually going to be... The target, I think, is going to be tint color. And then we're going to use color for this one, because I'm pretty sure the ground 32 uses tint, right? Yep, tint. So we're going to now go back to... Oh, I was doing this on the prefab. Okay, perfect. That'll be fine. We'll just work on it here. And target tag should be grid 32. And I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to hit apply. And we're going to delete this thing. And now let's see if that actually matches the... There we go. Now, null reference exception. So we had a problem. Our problem was target.material.getColor had some problem. So start target equals game object define object with tag target tag. What did we actually have this set to? Inspector target tag is grid 32. Is that actually... Oh, we didn't tag it. We made the tag, but we didn't tag it. So we go grid 32. There we go. So now if we hit play, that grid looks cool down there. There we go, and it's matching the player. Yay, for reals. And now let's do the same thing on the explosion for the star explode. This uses a tint color, so we're just going to add component, match material color. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to do target tag grid 32. Target color property name, we want to use tint color in both cases on this one. And then we hit play. That didn't work.
The start color is blue in the...
Oh, yeah, that's right. That is right. So if we make the start color white, then maybe this will actually work. Curious where we're at for draw calls. 7. That's not too bad. There we go. Though it didn't seem like it was bouncing off the ground for some reason. Did we somehow mess that up? Collision, planes. Oh! It's because...
Does it do it by tag or something?
It doesn't do it by tag. We have to actually... So we can't just do this. We have to do world collision. That's fine. I'm sure it will not be too bad from a performance standpoint. If it is, we'll axe it. Doesn't collide very well, does it? Let's go ahead and do collision. Oh, collision quality already is high.
Does it need colliders? Because
we didn't have colliders. That's right. That's right. We got rid of the colliders. So let's do grid 8. We're going to add a physics box collider. And I don't trust it being that thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it like 1 thick. But we're going to... So... It's going to be hard to see this. Actually, it'll be easy to see this. We'll do this non-perspective. Sorry.
We have a little more than 20 minutes until the next episode.
All right. So I'm just going to offset this by 0.5. The other direction, negative 0.5. So now this surface represents the very surface of our thing. Even though it has a thickness to it, that thickness helps us with the collision stuff. So if we hit play, and we dot, and we kill this star...
Collect the star.
Collect the star. There we go. And
I like it.
I like it a lot. So... And now I want the player death to be a little bit more dramatic. First of all, I'm going to add our script for our coloring thing. I'm going to just grab this, copy component, player... where's our player? Oh yeah, it's in hero. So oh no, it's in explode. That's what it is. We're gonna paste component. It's not in that one for some reason. Paste component as new. So this has everything set the way we need it. We're gonna change this to be blue, and I'm gonna make it so that emission we do 1,000 particles, and we're gonna continue to do the collision thing. We're going to make it last 5 seconds, and I'm going to make the start size bigger. We're going to make it 2. And let's see if that looks a little bit more dramatic when we die. So I want to collect something so that we have a comparison. So we collect a star, boom, looks cool, and then we die, boom. And we don't have gravity, so it's not looking right. So let's do gravity multiplier 1. And let's try it one more time.
I like how it looks like a wall, and then all of the particles separate from each other.
Yeah, yeah. Let's try this one more time now with the actual collision on. I like it. So one last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the lifetime actually a random between two constants, and I'm going to make it between 2.5 and 5. This will make it so that they won't all disappear at exactly the same time, and it'll look a lot better, watch. So when I blow myself up, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other one, when I blow myself up, you'll see that they won't just all disappear at once, and it'll look a little bit more magic. There we go. So it looks good. And I'm going to do the same thing for the... actually, let's make it 3. And on the Star Explode, we're going to do random between two constants, 3 and 5. And I'm going to call that a wrap save. Whole lot of stuff. Push commits immediately to origin, commit. And, oh yeah, this one will take a little bit longer because there's a sound file in there, but it shouldn't be that long because it's a very small one. So, I'm just going to go to Cam Twist, just the face. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed the episode. Sorry we took longer than usual. I don't think people complained too much. And we got more stuff in the game. Cool. We got a credit screen. We did what we wanted, and then we also did some additional stuff. So thank you very much for joining us. If you have any questions, please email me, pushypixels@pushypixels.com. You can also tweet me at Drakfire. That's DRAKFYRE. And I'm going to say thank you very much, and good night.
We'll see you shortly.
Yep, in 15 minutes. Or immediately if you're from the future.